US Open week. I'm extremely excited for it. Obviously, the Masters is going to take the cake in terms of my favorite major. The Open Championship is a lot of fun, but it's hard to sweat with it being, overseas, with the weather draws, with the fact that they still haven't been able to get Shot Tracker, in their, Open Championship app. So I'm extremely excited for this week. Should be a lot of fun. The course looks awesome as well. And, a lot of the Live Tour guys are in the field, so they're going to be getting a lot of questions. They're going to be getting a lot of heat, under a lot of scrutiny, but it will be interesting to see how that plays out. But we're here to talk about the course. It's going to be played at the Country Club at Brookline in Massachusetts. It's a par 70 that measures 7,264 yards. This course hosted the 1999 Ryder Cup, the 2013 U.S. Amateur, which you were going to hear about, 1,000 times this week that Matthew Fitzpatrick won the U.S. Amateur here. And it's also hosted 3 U.S. Opens, but none since 1988. The course has had some renovations since then. It's certainly gotten a lot longer. And it is known for its penalizing rough and tiny greens, 4,400 square feet on average. So those are, similar to Pebble Beach, Harbor Town, maybe even a little bit smaller. There's going to be fescue grass throughout the course, pretty thick as well. It's going to be in play off the tee and on approach. So you definitely don't want to be too wide, with your driver or with your irons. There's only 2 par 5s on the scorecard. And there's going to be 8 par 4s that measure over 450 yards. So it's an extremely long course. 3 of the par 3s are over 190 yards. So I am expecting a lot of long iron shots, both on the par 4s, on the par 3s, and then on the par 5s as well. There's only 2 of them, but one of them is going to be reachable by pretty much everyone. The other one's going to be a 3-shot hole for most of the field, unless you're going to be able to get out there, 330, 340, because it does measure well over 600 yards. It's going to be a tough test. The greens are going to be a mix of Poa-Nua and bent grass. They say it's about a 75 to 25% mix. I just ended up using both in my splits for the week. And, I'm thinking it's going to play like a typical U.S. Open. You want to be long and straight off the tee. You want to be good with your irons. If you do hit it in the rough, you got to be strong enough to hit it out of the rough. You got to be patient. You got to know when to take your medicine. And you got to have a good short game with how short or how small these greens are. You're going to have to be a very good scrambler if you are going to, be able to save par. There's expected to be significant wind gusts each of the 4 days of the tournament, so that's going to make the course even more challenging. I do have the wind finder link here in the first look. So if you want to check that out, I highly recommend it. We have seen some, major draw biases over the last, couple months. So I would definitely keep an eye on that leading up to tee times on Thursday morning. And then for course history, obviously we don't have any at this specific course, at least any relevant course history, but I don't mind looking at past U.S. Opens. Typically the same type of golfers play well at the U.S. Open each and every year. The comp courses that I am going to be looking at this week, TPC Boston, which is, pretty close to this course, Winged Foot, Olympia Fields, PGA National, and Pebble Beach. So, other places where they've had majors. PGA National is a pretty tough course. I got that comp from Data Golf, so I included that one in here as well. And then for the stats, I'm putting a big weight on strokes gained off the tee this week, pretty big weight on total driving, and then a decent weight on driving distance. So that's going to be a total weight of the 100% for stats. I'm going to have 24% of it going to off the tee. That is the most that I've had pretty much all season. Maybe the Masters was close. Then I have strokes gained approach, strokes gained ball striking, proximity from, it's a mix of 150 to 225, but most of it is between 175 and 200 because you are going to get the 3 par 3s that are over 190 are going to fall in that range. And then a lot of the par 4s, just depends on how far you drive the ball. That's kind of why I included, a little bit of a wider range because, Rory's going to have different approach shots than, one of the shorter hitters in the field. So so here's how, the proximity numbers break out. Finau over the last 3 months is number 1 in the field. Y is number 2. JT is going to be solid no matter what time frame you're looking at. Abe Answer is certainly interesting. Not a guy that, was on my radar at the start of the week, but certainly a guy that does good with his long irons. Over the last 6 months, you have Hovland up at the top, John Rahm, very good with the long irons, Tom Hoagie, very good with the long irons. And then over the last 18 months, Morikawa, his numbers have certainly, dipped off. If you look at the strokes gained ball striking, I like to use these 3 columns, sort of to see trends. And as you can see, Morikawa was one of the best ball strikers in the world over the last 18 months. That's kind of tailed off over the last 6, even more so over the last 3. Hoagie's kind of tailed off. And then, some of the opposites true as well. Somebody like Rory McIlroy, he's gotten even better, even though he's already an elite ball striker. Greens and reg, you can kind of look for patterns as well. Morikawa is just not hitting as many greens as he usually does over the long term. And when you're really bad around the greens, that is gonna certainly haunt you, and that's kind of why we've seen his form dip off. And the same goes for Viktor Hovland. Both these guys struggle around the greens, so when they're not peppering greens, they can struggle at times. I think that's why we've kind of seen them struggle over the last couple months. And then we have birdie or better, bogey avoidance, stroke gain around the green, stroke gain putting. And again, I have this column here which shows stroke gain putting on bent and POA over the last, I believe it was 2 years that I ran it for. So you have Hughes, Kokrak, Cantlay. So Cantlay is going to be one of the more interesting plays of the week because everybody loves to talk about his struggles at the majors. Obviously, doesn't have very many high finishes, but I mean, look at this. Since the start of 2016, he's played in 18 majors. He's made the cut 78% of the time. He's finished in the top 25% of the fields half the time. So even though it hasn't been great the last couple years, even though we expect more out of him, I think this could be a good fit for him. He's made the cut in 4 straight U.S. Opens. Great putter on bent and POA. Coming in good form with 2 top 3s in his last 3 starts. So I think Cantlay is certainly somebody to keep an eye on. And then we have the comps that I was talking about, the whole yardage breakdown based on the whole yardage lengths at this specific course. You have Rahm, JT, Cantlay again, Rory, and Scheffler. The comp is going to be the course comps that I mentioned. So you have, Winged Foot, TPC Boston, Olympia Fields, PGA National, and Pebble Beach. You're going to have Dustin Johnson, who is another interesting name. I mean, T8 at the Live event last week, but obviously hasn't been playing very well this year. But he's a king of U.S. Opens, so a guy that I don't mind looking to in MME, even though my model doesn't particularly like him at this price point. You have Gary Woodland up there, John Rahm, Adam Scott, who's been playing, up and down golf for sure, but he tends to show up for the majors, and then Jordan Spieth, who is another big name as well. And then if you are a premium member, you get access to all of this. You get to download the model. You get to go through and change all of the weights to how you see fit. So this week I'm focusing a little bit more on long-term stuff than short-term stuff, but that's certainly included in the model. If you want to, look elsewhere, you certainly can. And then, the overall rankings are going to be hidden in these 2 columns here. So you'll have access to those. You can upload those right into Lineup HQ. You also get access to all of the notes that I make for the golfers. I'm going to keep adding to these throughout the week. You're going to get the point per dollar ratings on each of the sites, which are certainly useful if you do play more than one site. And in addition to just this model, I mean, you get access to the Discord, the expert rankings, expert survey, my core plays article, my bets, STL's conviction plays article. We have a value plays article coming out. Drew Matthews is back on board, and he's going to be doing some more golf content for us. So just a ton of good stuff. Highly recommend you joining RG Premium. And with that, I'm going to get out of here. Best of luck. I'll have another video for premium members on Tuesday, and we'll also have the Drive for Show DFS for Doe video coming out Monday night. That is free for everyone with myself and Justin. So we're also hoping to do a Twitter Spaces on Wednesday. If you want to join us for that, you can hop in, you can listen, you can ask questions, whatever you like, just to get ready to kind of get our final thoughts on the week. And I'm excited. Let's have a big week, and we'll see you later.